When a former royal squares off against Britain's sharpest tongue on live TV, it's not awkward, it's combustible. Tonight, Meghan Markle goes toe-to-toe with Graham Norton until the unthinkable happens. He boots her off his own show. The Graham Norton set glowed under its trademark purple and red lights. The cameras rolled, the crowd buzzed. Graham spun in his chair, flashing that mischievous grin. "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Meghan Markle." Polite applause. She emerged in a form-fitting green dress, heels clicking like a metronome on the stage floor. A regal wave, more ceremonial than warm. "Meghan, wonderful to have you," Graham said, leaning in for air kisses. "Lovely to be here," she replied coolly, eyes flicking to the cameras to check her angles. From the first moment, the tension wasn't nervous. It was strategic. She settled on the red sofa, legs crossed precisely. "So, Meghan," Graham began, "half the British tabloids practically owe you their existence. Is that the plan? Single-handedly stimulate the economy." Laughter. Her smile didn't budge past her lips. "I wouldn't expect you to understand living under constant attack," she said evenly. "It's not stimulating the economy, it's feeding vultures." "Feeding vultures." Graham chuckled. "You've given them plenty interviews. A book? Netflix. Is this your show, Graham? Or theirs? Are you here to interview me or recycle headlines?" The crowd's laughter this time was tight. Graham leaned back, hands clasped over his knee. "They're my questions, but I'd wager they're what the audience wants to hear." "Then maybe you should ask better questions." The air cooled. Banter was becoming blood sport. "You've always championed honesty," Graham pressed. "So regret leaving the royal family. Or did it all go exactly to plan?" "Regret? No," she shot back. "I regret trusting people who didn't deserve it. But leaving? Never." Graham leaned forward. "You say that convincingly. Though some might say you've made a career out of walking away from obligations." A collective gasp. "Excuse me?" she snapped. "Is this how you treat every guest tour? Just me? Only the special ones? So you have to provoke someone to make good TV, because this feels more like bad therapy." The crowd tittered. "For someone who thrives on people's stories," she added, "you're surprisingly bad at listening." Graham's smile thinned. "I listen just fine. I just know when a story is performance, not reality." "Performance." Okay, she shot back. "Are you saying my life's an act?" "Well," he said, letting the pause hang, "you are an actress." The audience erupted, some laughing, some gasping. And from there, the night only went downhill. Asterisk gasps rippled through the audience, followed by a thin thread of nervous laughter that died almost instantly. Even the band in the corner froze mid-motion, their eyes darting toward each other. Meghan's cheeks burned crimson. "You know what?" she said, her voice just loud enough to echo across the studio. "At least I know who I am. I'm not hiding behind a desk, tossing out cheap shots because I'm too afraid to take any risks myself." Graham's smile flattened. His fingers tightened together until the knuckles whitened. "Well, at least I don't confuse victimhood with courage." The room locked in place. Meghan blinked, momentarily stunned, before her trademark composure slid back into place. "You really think you're clever, don't you?" she said, her tone cool but loaded. "Sitting here every week, turning people's pain into punchlines for ratings. Better than monetizing it?" Graham snapped back. The audience collectively inhaled, the tension now vibrating in the air like static. Meghan leaned forward, eyes fixed on him. "Careful, Graham," she said, voice low and dangerous. "You're one question away from making a very big mistake." Graham's voice matched her edge. "And what mistake would that be?" "Asking what?" "Everyone else is already thinking." Her laugh was sharp and humorless. "No, Graham, forgetting that you're not untouchable." The silence that followed was a living thing, dense, heavy. People shifted uncomfortably in their seats, afraid to even cough. Graham leaned back, steepling his fingers, studying her like a chess opponent calculating a lethal move. "Touché," he murmured. "But let's see how long you can keep this up." The air was thick enough to cut. What began as banter was now a bare-knuckle duel, each line sharper than the last. And neither was backing down. "You know," she began, her voice sliding into open mockery, "I get why you've never really moved beyond this sofa. Too safe here, too scared to do anything real. Easier to snipe at people who've actually risked something." The audience gasped. Graham's eyes narrowed to slits, the color draining from his cheeks. "You think sitting here isn't real? That what I do has no value?" His tone was icy. "That's rich, coming from someone who's turned victimhood into a business." Meghan's eyes widened, then she laughed, a short cutting sound that even made the cameras hesitate. "Oh, there it is," she said. "The truth. You just can't stand that I walked away and still became bigger than you'll ever be. You think walking away makes you brave?" Graham's voice rose now, the producers at the wings shifting uneasily. "Abandoning responsibility and crying about it doesn't make you admirable." Meghan stood, sudden, defiant. The audience collectively leaned back. "You don't talk to me like that," she hissed. "You don't know me. And you?" "Don't know when to stop," Graham replied evenly, his voice carrying a chill that made the front row shiver. They stood on either side of the iconic red sofa like opposing generals. Meghan stepped closer. "You're pathetic." Graham smiled faintly, eyes hard, "And you're finished." The crowd gasped again. The studio lights seemed to dim, as if the room itself understood something irreversible had happened. Meghan's fists clenched. Her voice dropped to a mic-picking whisper. "You'll regret this." "Oh, my dear," Graham murmured. "I already do." The air was thick now, every breath audible. Then Graham straightened. The mischief was gone from his face, replaced with something steely. "Meghan," he said formally, "I think we're done here." She blinked. "Excuse me, you heard me? This stopped being productive 10 minutes ago. And I can't allow my show to turn into your personal therapy session." The audience gasped again. For the first time that night, Meghan looked caught off guard. "You're kicking me off your show?" He let one corner of his mouth twitch. Upward. "Let's call it ending early for everyone's sake." Her voice trembled. "You don't dismiss me like some forgettable guest." "Oh, I'm not dismissing you because you're forgettable," he said. "I'm dismissing you because you're unforgettable. For all the wrong reasons." The gasp this time came with scattered, guilty applause. Meghan stood, frozen, eyes glassy with fury. "You think you can humiliate me? That this makes you look strong?" "This isn't about looking strong," Graham said, voice like a knife. "It's about reminding you and everyone watching that respect isn't optional. And you left yours at the door." Meghan's lips pressed into a hard line. Without another word, she snatched her clutch, pivoted, and strode toward the exit. The cameras followed each sharp click of her heels. At the doors, she paused, looked back. Her face was an unreadable blend of defiance, anger, and something else, maybe regret. Then she was gone. The faint click of the closing doors echoed like a gunshot. For a long moment, Graham stood still, then adjusted his jacket, turned too. The audience, and with the barest return of his trademark twinkle, said, "Well, looks like we'll need a bigger sofa next time." Laughter, applause, disbelief. But every eye in that room kept flicking toward the door. Half expecting her to come back, she didn't. Somewhere down the corridor, her heels struck the floor in furious staccato. Already rewriting the story. Already plotting her next move. But no one, not Graham, not the audience, not the cameras, would forget what had just happened.